Sorry.
You'll start to see a confliction maybe with either the people in your life that aren't moving at the pace that you're moving. Have you guys already maybe experienced this? And it could be like nothing huge and major, but there might be a little bit of a shift of people saying certain things, commenting on certain things, or you kind of, when you start to work on yourself, you start to notice a shift. And another shift that I experienced with this journey is that I noticed a shift in experience with my old mindset and my current one. And where I would find myself struggling is I would have like win after win after win and feel really good after 2 weeks. And then I'd get off track. And then I would get so down on myself. Like I would get so hard on myself because I was doing so well. And that's conflicting because you've been putting effort and intentionality into growing. And then what happens is your old lifestyle comes back in and it doesn't feel good. Can you ladies at all relate to me on that? And so the biggest tip that I have for you is to just keep going. I think what's really good about this journey is that you're going to continue to like see more separation from that old mindset. However, even doing this 4 years later, it still creeps in. But now it's almost like I've trained myself enough to know that. But I think when you're first starting out or creating that momentum and you're creating that consistency, it can feel really defeating. And so I really wanted to make the call about that tonight, of almost like, I made a post about this today actually, that guilt is such a common way of feeling certain ways. And it's not just guilt from other people, but guilt from ourselves. So I made a post about that saying like my whole life, people have made me feel guilty. And I don't think it's like their intentions of like, they want me to feel bad, but it's almost like people have expectations of you and then they guilt trip you or they make you feel bad or they kind of just like throw this in your face. Natalie, I'm loving your cat. It's making me laugh so hard. Like, I feel like every animal's like, I need to get on Zoom. It's amazing. Keep like, don't change anything. I think it's wonderful. So it's either the people in your life have certain expectations of you. And if you don't deal with that, I think you yourself have certain expectations for yourself, and it can let you down equally as much as someone else. And I think the more I've been learning, the more I'm realizing that we can actually take that control back and we can take that power back either over ourselves or the people who are trying to guilt trip us. So, ways that I handle that, and you guys can all chime in. This is not just me going, it's just kind of going off the cuff a little bit. But one, I'm just hyper aware of it now. And then two, like in my head, I'm like, okay, if someone's feeling that way and I'm not actually sorry, like say someone's like, oh, I was expecting you to do this today and like you should have been there. A normal response would be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Or like maybe in a message, a text message, like, I'm so sorry, I'm just getting to this. Even though I may not actually be feeling sorry. So one way I've been able to take control back of that is not apologizing when I'm not sorry. And I know that there's like, we have to understand forgiveness and things like that when you actually do wrong to someone. And I think that's a totally different way I'm not going right now. This is seriously just like in the aspect of people projecting their fears, insecurities, worries, and expectations on you. When you can take that control back and be like, you know what? And you don't have to say you're not sorry. Like, I think if you show up with tons of enthusiasm and say, you know what? I can't promise you that that is something that I can do, but what's a different way that we can get it done? Or, you know, I know that you were expecting me to do this. Right now, it's not in line with my priorities currently, but I would love to create another solution with you. Or I know that you felt let down about that, and I'm acknowledging that. I just need to tell you that my self-care has been such a priority to me. Because what I see happen is that this expectation and these doubts and these worries that align with guilt, it starts trumping you actually taking care of yourself. And the biggest way I can relate that is teaching. Teaching, there's always a list of things to do. My best friend Hannah is in town and she just took a nap and she just woke up and she said, I just took a shower and it felt so good. I don't think I've showered since Friday. I know, gross. And So you're welcome. I'm smelling really good. I wish you guys could smell me right now. And she said, man, and I was like, that felt so good. And she's like, you know what felt really good is taking a nap and not feeling guilty about it. Because she's in a school administrator, she's a dean, and she just is on the go all the time. And she just took a guilt-free nap. And I was like, I'm talking about guilt today. That's so perfect. And so with me with teaching, I always felt guilty for getting stuff done. Laura just said, I have a coach who was attacked with a comment saying, you're not a fitness expert. She took control over the situation and made a post saying, no, I'm not. I'm doing my best to take care of myself and listening to my body. Yes, Rachel, that's so good. And yeah, and I guess it's just been so much on my heart. And so I know that meal prepping might be stressful, and I know that your schedule might be stressful, but I really think that a huge way for you to get through these next 2 weeks is really paying attention to the guilt that you might be having. And if the guilt you're having is it sabotaging your self-care, like, are you saying yes to everyone else but not yourself? And exactly, you need to know your why. And are you constantly like getting down on yourself and feeling guilty because you're not doing things perfectly? So here's another example of that is I'm doing 80-day obsession. And I think we're on like day 64 or something like that. And I did Insanity Max 30 today. And you want to know what, ladies? I survived. I'm okay. It's not a big deal. But in my head, I'm like, if I don't follow this perfectly, like I failed the whole thing. Like this is so horrible. And I'm like, okay, you're feeling guilty about this, but you're still moving your body and you feel really good. So for me, my outlet of like feeling really good is Insanity Max 30. I love it. Like it is just my like go-to, like it's like going to war. That's how I feel at that program. And sometimes other programs aren't doing it for me. And so I decided today to just like do Insanity Max 30. And so my point is we have to learn grace throughout this journey and stop putting these huge that are no big deal expectations on ourselves and letting other people put no huge deal expectations on us, because I really feel like it gets in our way of truly absorbing and seeing the victories and how we're getting there. So exactly. So Laura, do you want to add anything? I know that this is kind of off the cuff, but it was so on my heart because I think it's just like we as ladies do not talk about this enough.
You hit 2 points with me. The guilt-free nap. I'm so FOMO that I'm just like, I give myself like, finally when I finally decide to take a nap, I set my alarm clock and I'm like, okay, alarm clock, you're going to take a nap. It's going to be 20 minutes. So then I'm like, okay, go. And then I'm like, then I look at the time, I'm like, crap, wait, no, now I only have 19 minutes to take a nap. And then it's just this whole mess. Like, so yes, giving yourself grace and the peace to take a nap because that's what your body is asking of you is huge. Or even taking a pause and just saying, hey, like, I need to take care of myself for a minute here. And then the second note was, sorry, I was just concentrating on the nap for a second there. I totally lost track of my thought. No, how you were saying about the Insanity Max 30. That's funny because about 4 days ago, I did a workout with my husband. And in the back of my mind, I was like, this is crap. Like, you're not doing the program that you're supposed to be doing. And again, it's like, I'm moving. I'm like doing something that makes me super happy. And it's getting a awesome sweat in and everything. So yeah, I mean, we just kind of got to give ourselves grace throughout this journey and, you know, just keep moving in life or stop moving. Sometimes we need to do.
Exactly. And like, could you other ladies relate to this? Like just kind of feeling that pressure of people maybe projecting that like their expectations on you, or maybe struggling to do that with yourself. And then have you ever felt disappointed in your journey thus far because maybe you're putting those unrealistic expectations of perfectionism on this journey? that's been something that has been like, it's a struggle. And I think that's why this community is so important, is so we can remind each other that it's, if you get, like you guys, the last workout I did besides today was Friday. And I don't usually do that. And it was interesting because I woke up today, I was like, you know what? Like, you can't change that. Handle your day like a boss today. And I did. And I showed up, and that's why I wanted to do Insanity Max 30. But like, even me, Laura, Kelsey, like whoever, Jenny, Jellymar, whoever, Natalie, we're going to have moments like that. But I think a lot of people think like, well, I'm just going to throw in the towel now. And this journey is where you need to just push through it and just know like it's never too late to get started again. Oh, Jellymar, I'm so glad. And yeah, and I think, well, the reason I wanted to really talk about that is because I feel like over the last 4 days, maybe I'm just really aware of it, is I feel like a lot of people in my life have been trying to make me feel really guilty, and I don't like it. Like, I was like, I really don't think that guilt is a good motivator. Like, I don't think that guilt is a thing that makes me want to do a really great job. Like, guilt does not make me want to be my best. What makes me want to be my best is being enthusiastic, joyful, like feeling alive, like, and guilt is just not a good feeling. And it's crazy because I feel like we guilt trip ourselves so much. And if you are struggling with that, it's not a good feeling. And that might be the thing that is getting in the way of you having an insane transformation, if that makes sense. Do any of you ladies, I know 2 of you are at work, and I love that you guys are on. Kelsey, Natalie, you can totally unmute. I know it's a little scary to do it, but I promise it's safe. No one's going to bite you. And it'll be so good. But do any of you ladies have any comments, anything you want to say? Can you relate to this? Maybe you have a question about it at all?
I'll just say, like, I started the 21-day fix with the last boot camp, and I never like started and finished a program, so I was super pumped to do that. But last week happened, and I didn't work out for like 3 days in a row. And then yesterday I didn't work out. So I decided like I'm going to keep going and like finish the workouts, even though it's probably going to be like a 30-day workout instead of a 21-day fix. But so I was kind of disappointed, but I feel good that I'm actually going to finish it for once, even if it takes a little bit longer.
Heck yeah. And I think that's like the thing where it's like, give yourself like this is what I do. Compare yourself to 3 months ago, compare yourself to 5 months ago, compare yourself to a year ago. And like that, I feel like we are like, because when you're on a roll, it's hard to like get off like the good time train. And then you're like, oh, but you've already come so far. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There was, I have a coach and a challenger. She was a challenger and then she became a coach. And she said she's had an amazing transformation. And she said, Julianne, I just love that these boot camps are all about small wins. That literally it's like, let's win our water today. Like, if I can win anything, I'll win waking up on my alarm the first time it goes off. Like, that will be my win for the day. And that honestly is so much of this journey, Kelsey, is like every single day you can find a blessing and a win and something really good. Can we just all admire Brittany's hair? Because I'm just like, girl, you got it going on
right now.
Brittany, we're talking about people making us feel guilty or making ourselves feel guilty, and guilt is not a good feeling. And we're just talking about how guilt can make us get off track because guilt is not proactive. It's not a proactive feeling in life, if that makes sense. So if you want to comment on that, that'd be so great. And we're just like being able to identify guilt and being able to just like realize that self-care is so much more than perfectionism, and that it's just like taking those wins, you know, each day. So you're more than welcome to unmute yourself, sister.
I would love to. You're going to hear the giant airplane in the background somewhere. I live right next to the airport. And thank you for the hair compliments. I literally just left a 45-minute workout, so that's all sweat holding that together.
Amazing.
That's why I'm late. I was like, I have to get this in before I hop on the video. So, but on the whole guilt thing, and I am so stinking glad that this is what you're talking about, because I've been struggling with that myself. And I realized while reading Girl Wash Your Face last night that for me, the guilt comes from, it's a lack of self-respect for me. And learning that, I deserve more, and somebody else, feeling guilty because I don't meet someone else's standards, or I'm not living up to what they think is best for my life, or I'm being treated poorly and I've let it happen and it's caused guilt. It was really just sitting down and saying, no, I have more self-respect than that. I'm going to stand up for myself, I guess that's kind of been my revelation this week in the whole guilt category.
Yes, I think we can all relate to that. And I think too, when you guys having a busy schedule and having a lot of expectations and responsibilities, you can feel really guilty for wanting to put your self-care first, or just make time for that, or learn how to say no to friends even though you love them very much, but that you really want to do something proactive with yourself. Do you guys feel like you struggle with that too? I think that's sometimes, I know a lot of people in certain relationships that can feel that way, or whatever. Darcy and Sarah, welcome. We're talking about guilt and struggling with just feeling guilty about things, and struggling with being on track, doing awesome. It's been an awesome 3 days, and then something happens on the 4th day and everything falls apart, and then it's just so hard to get back going. But we just have to take that pressure off us and just remember that we've come so far already. And I think that's why this boot camp in this community is so vital, you guys. I cannot express one, the friendships it's brought to my life, but two, the support that it's brought to my life, knowing that I'm not in this alone. And that's my best friend, Hannah. And she's I'm going to lay on your bed as you do your meetings. She's been my number one support over the last 4 years, besides Eric, which is so great. But just having this community to remind us that we're not alone, because I think the world's standards are turning really negative, and I don't know, you know what I mean? So anyone else want to add anything as far as struggles you're having, or relating to our topic, or anything? I can get back on my half marathon training. Yes. Oh wait, I cannot get back on my still getting my miles up and getting my cross training done. Jenny, that's amazing, sister. That's so good. And I always say to our team Not Being Fit, I always say how can you course correct? How can you, there was this one lady, you guys, that freaked out at me a couple of weeks ago, and literally yelled at me. And I wish I would have said this to her. I was oh, that's on you. How you feel right now is on you. But I wish I would have also said, I'm not sure if I'm going to continue to talk during this. I'm not sure. I can't promise you that. However, what would be another option for you? Or what would be another approach? Could you leave this area? Could you ask what we're talking about and get in on this conversation instead of freak out? What would be another approach? And so when you get off track or something goes horribly wrong, what is another approach that you can take to handling your day, if that makes sense? I love that I'm trying to catch up with the chat. I think it's super important to identify where that guilt is coming from. Are you feeling guilty because you're letting yourself down? Are you feeling guilty because you aren't meeting someone else's standard? Yes. Yes, 100%. Anyone else want to chime in? You all are amazing, and I'm so grateful that you're on today. Number 2, that's on them. Yeah. You guys, when you're not meeting someone else's expectations, it is 100% on them, but it's also on you with how you react to it. And that's something that I've been realizing too. Someone got upset with me yesterday, someone I really admire, and was kind of passive aggressive with it. And I handled it in the sense of hey, I'm not sorry about this, but I'm really excited to help out with this. So I kind of set that up for that standard. So a lot of times when you're feeling that way, it's really easy to freak out, get frustrated, get upset, like get passive aggressive back and do all that stuff. So when someone has a high expectation for you that you don't meet it, that's on them for feeling upset. You don't have to let their being upset affect you. That's a 100% on you if you let that happen. So as far as your journey goes, again, just stick with the small wins. And wow, everyone's getting on. I'm so excited. Don't worry, I won't repeat I feel like every time I'm like, oh, we're talking about guilt. So as we're starting on Monday, we are going to be focusing on the lies that we tell ourselves. We're going to be going through this book. You don't have to get it, but you can totally get it if you want. It's Girl Wash Your Face. It's amazing. And it's just lies that we as women have told ourselves. Some of the chapters, like I'm not a mom, however, I still related to the chapter, and I just like in my own way, if that makes sense. Kelsey, yeah, it is so good, you guys. She's like a Christian version of Tina Fey. Like she's super funny and like hilarious. Like Rachel Hollis is her name, but you don't have to get it. You totally don't have to get it. But if you're looking for a good book to read, Girl Wash Your Face is amazing. It definitely was like, it was so good. I like sped through it and read it. It was amazing. But we're going to go through it each day, just tackling those lies starting on Monday. So some of you, raise your hand if you're continuing on with the program starting Monday. So for me, I'm still on 80-day obsession. Cool, Natalie, Darcy, awesome, Brittany, Laura, Sarah, most of us, I think. And then some of us might be starting on Monday. But some tips that I have for you as we start to prepare. Some of you who have been in boot camp before, you'll kind of see a repetition this week of prep, but it might be a good way for you to help out new challengers that are in there. Share some wins and victories that you have. I say this to Team Happy and Fit. Don't be someone who just withdraws from a bank. Also deposit, because when you start to deposit, you'll really notice that you are helping other people, but then also like you can build those relationships, because sometimes like you're just looking to like, oh, like I need help with this, I need help with this. But when you don't underestimate your wins, don't underestimate like something really cool that happens in your day that helped you with your journey, you sharing that is going to help everybody. So like if you found a cool way to like get all your water in when your life is crazy, share it with the group, and it definitely will help everyone do that. And just showing up with massive enthusiasm. It's really easy to like get down in the dumps of like feeling off track. But I tell you what, if you can focus on massive enthusiasm and you can be like, who can I serve today, and show up in there, you are going to feel more fulfilled on your journey and more excited about your journey. And you're going to look at the obstacles in your journey as something that's a way of just part of the story that you're creating for yourself. So yeah. Okay. Laura, do you want to add anything more?
Other than the fact, I put it in the comments, we could use prep week as a habit of getting used to getting in on those daily posts and reflections. I also really loved Busy Woman Bootcamp and how a lot of people were helping each other and giving each other tips and tricks on different things. So definitely keep that up.
Hey, well, I cannot wait to meet and start on Monday. I think we should continue on with these meetups on Tuesday. And please don't hesitate to come with any questions that you have. I think it's just a really special time to just say, hey, I need to share you guys, like I'm fitting into some pants that I haven't fit in 6 years. Like I told you all I showered. This is the first time I've showered since Friday. And to me, that's a big win. So to share it with all of you, I feel like an even bigger winner. So that's good. And I'm glad this is recorded. But just being able to come together in camaraderie is huge. And I love this community so much. And I'm just so excited to get started. So I'm going to hit end record.